Good morning, everybody. Hope you're going to have a good day. We got a little bit of snow, about 4 or 6 inches right now. It's still coming down. So no telling how much we're going to get altogether. But if you're out and traveling in the snow area, be safe. Pay attention to what's going on and stay the hell away from other drivers. That's the best way to avoid accidents. That's my honest opinion. Just stay away from other people. That way you don't have to depend on you not making any mistakes. And that's makes life a little bit easier. Anyway, guys, something that's always puzzled me since we've been hearing about ecological damage and everything like that, and the water supply kind of dwindling and everything like that. And it's always puzzled me because, I know, hopefully you understand also, that Earth is an enclosed ecological system, much like a terrarium which we put plants and other things inside of. It's a closed ecological system. There's no other influence of bringing material, water or anything else like that, ecological material into the planet, or escaping from the planet either. Our atmosphere, all our atmospheres make a barrier, a layer that prevents things in here from going out there, more or less. It also prevents stuff from out there coming in here. I mentioned this the other day when I was talking about the magnetosphere and stuff, and how it's kind of odd that this stuff is going on. Anyway, the puzzle me is about, we don't lose any water, guys, because, again, we are a closed ecological system. There is no way possible, really, for our water to be going away somewhere, like they keep telling us, we're losing water, we're losing water. But, in fact, our aquifers that surround not only the United States and North America, but all over the world, are dropping in levels and everything. So, again, the big question is, where is the water going? It is not going anywhere else, guys. It stays inside our planet and our atmospheres, and it's not going anywhere else. So where is the water going? And this is a question that's boggled my mind for years, decades, guys. It's, where the hell's the water going? They keep telling us that we're running out of water, usable for fresh water, guys. It's refreshed annually, decades, everything. There's a cycle that this water goes up and down in cycles and everything, but it don't ever leave our atmosphere. So this is kind of odd. So I posed a question to artificial intelligence. And it's the general knowledge stuff, guys, like Perplexity, ChatGPT, Claude, and all them other guys, things like that. I stay away from Grok because I don't trust Elon Musk. It's just being honest with it. I don't trust none of them, but I have a better feel, by the way, balancing out the comments from all 3 or even 4 sometimes AI models, and I use them for some of my research and everything. So this helps me bring out facts that I just don't have a way of doing it. So anyway, I asked the question is about the hole in the ozone layer is allowing oxygen to escape into the atmosphere, because oxygen, our atmosphere, our air carries water molecules, so it will carry them off into space, is my assumption right here, since we're going to figure out where the hell the water is going. The hole in the ozone layer does not let oxygen or any other air leak out into space. And it does not change anything. Gravity, not the ozone layer, is what keeps Earth's atmosphere, including oxygen, in place. Kind of odd. It messed up my question, and thought I was asking about medication, but so ignore this part, some of the comments here. What the ozone hole is: the ozone layer, just a region high in the stratosphere, around 10 to 50 kilometers up, where the gas ozone, O2, is more concentrated. It is not a solid shell with literal holes. The ozone hole refers to areas mainly over Antarctica and sometimes the Arctic, where ozone levels drop seasonally due to chemical reactions involving pollutants like fluorocarbons. I can't talk sometimes, guys. Anyway, why does air not escape? It's asked itself, guys. It keeps leading these topics on. Some of y'all might use AI in some of your research and stuff. I know Mr. Mission Control does, and maybe some of the others. But guys, it's really a helpful tool as long as we understand that it is a tool, no different than a hammer. Okay? It helps you achieve goals and things. So it is a tool, a useful device, like a screwdriver. Why does air not escape? Earth's gravity holds the bulk of the atmosphere close to the planet, gases do not need a lid to stay here, and the ozone layer is not that lid. Okay, so they're saying gravity, which again, guys, if you don't know, understand, gravity is basically magnetics. Okay, there's no such thing as gravity. Everything has a magnetic pulse or influence inside of it that draws it back to the magnetic core of Earth. Later on, I'll be making a video about the weird connection I do believe is between Earth and the sun with its magnetics and stuff. It's just something that really kind of intrigues me a little bit. Some very light atoms like hydrogen and helium can slowly escape over long timescales, but this is normal and not caused by the ozone levels. So helium and hydrogen escapes after it breaks down from different forms and everything, can escape through the atmosphere through a natural occurrence. It is not a hole per se, as they keep putting us on with the science misinformation they keep broadcasting all over the news and all the other stuff, guys. We need to really check these guys out and start questioning the mainstream knowledge and mainstream ideas. And it says role of ozone in your medications, but I meant our environment, our health and everything. The ozone's main job in the atmosphere is to absorb harmful ultraviolet radiation from the sun. Remember the days I mentioned something about the UV rays and things like that, guys. It's coming together here a little bit by piece from the sun. When the ozone is depleted, more UV can reach Earth's surface, which can increase risk like skin cancer and eye damage, guys. And they increase, UV rays are really harmful. And it goes in taking medications about this and everything does not change how much oxygen stays in the atmosphere. Okay. I went ahead and asked another question. Does it allow water vapor to escape? Because this is the main idea I had behind this, to ask questions. The ozone hole does not act like a leak that lets Earth's water vapor drain into space. Water vapor is mainly controlled by temperature, gravity, magnetics, and chemical processes, not by gaps in the ozone layer. They've been kind of misleading us about this ozone layer stuff, guys, quite a bit. How water behaves in the atmosphere. So this is the part where we need to get into and kind of check this out. So anybody that does any research, Mr. Mission Control, anybody else that does this stuff, y'all get into it, start digging up and bringing out your own stories about it. Most water vapor stays in the lower atmosphere, the troposphere, where it forms clouds and eventually falls back as rain or snow. A very small fraction reaches the stratosphere above the ozone layer. Cold layers high in the atmosphere act as a cold trap, causing most rising water vapor to condense and fall out long before it could reach heights where escape to space would be possible. Does any water ever escape is the next topic that it came up with itself, guys.
You've got mail.
Thank you. A tiny amount of water is broken apart by UV light high in its atmosphere. Light hydrogen atoms can slowly escape to space over very long timescales. Remember a while ago about the hydrogen and helium escaping or going through the barrier into space. This is a natural occurrence, again. But this loss is extremely small compared with Earth's total water. So it's going to get into more depth about this in just a minute. The slow escape is a normal process and it is not significantly affected by ozone layers. The hole changes UV shielding and chemistry, but it is not an opening for water vapor to flow out. Again, where is the water going to? So we need to question this. So my next question, since we are a closed ecological system on this planet, where is all the water going? Earth is mostly a closed ecological system regarding water, meaning the total amount of water stays nearly consistent because water is continuously recycled through the water cycle. However, a small amount of water does escape to space each year. Next topic on it, where Earth's water goes. Water cycles through various forms: liquid, vapor, ice, moving between oceans, rivers, lakes, groundwater, the atmosphere, and living organisms continuously. So water is constantly reused. I'm going to pause here. Guys, they're saying this coming out. They're talking about recycling people using chemicals and flushing their remains down through the drain into the municipal water supply, and then on down river or downstream from you, everything, or you are downstream from them, and you will be drinking dead people. This is the major concerns that some people are talking about now. They're afraid they're going to be drinking dead people. Guys, we've been drinking dead people poop, dead people's pee, living people's poop and pee and other refuge ever since we started having municipal water supplies, guys. Water is constantly recycled, filtered, whatever else, treated and everything like this, and sent downstream. Some of it's good, some of it's not so good. But this idea that we are freaking out because we're drinking dead people, well, it's kind of ridiculous, because our whole planet is built upon dead people, dead animals, and dead plants. Constantly reusing, being stacked up, making our planet bigger and bigger over time and everything like that. Y'all just figure it out. It just makes freaking sense. Okay, anyway, sorry. Side note. Some water is lost when ultraviolet radiation breaks down water molecules high in the atmosphere into hydrogen and hydrogen atoms. The very light hydrogen can then escape to space gradually over long time scales. The estimated loss of water to space is small compared to the planet's total water volume, and Earth also can gain some water from space dust and meteorites, so the net change is minimal. Never knew that. But anyway, moving on. Other water losses and storage. Besides atmospheric escapes, water can be geologically lost by being chemically stored in minerals deep inside Earth's mantle. Through subduction, but this remains part of Earth's overall water system. Even though it's absorbed by things in the Earth, it is still part of our ecological system. It's not lost. It's not a loss. It's not going anywhere. It's still here. Freshwater availability on land is influenced by human activity and climate, but the total planetary water remains fairly stable over long timescales, meaning that the water that we had when Earth first got created, first formed, and all the water was here, is the same amount that is here now. We have not lost much. Thus, while water does leave Earth very slowly into space, the vast majority of Earth's water supply stays within the planet's closed water cycle system. Now I went on to ask, if the breakdown of water molecules releases hydrogen, and this hydrogen is leaked into space, where does the rest of the breakdown of water go? And this gets to the part where some of you researchers might want to pay attention. When the water molecules in the atmosphere break down due to ultraviolet radiation, they dissociate into hydrogen atoms and other fragments. The light hydrogen atoms can escape into space because of the low mass. The remaining parts of the water molecule, primarily from reactive oxygen species, such as hydroxyl radicals, atomic oxygen, and sometimes molecular oxygen, depending on the photochemical reactions. In other words, guys, even though this water vapor is going up in space and breaking up into particles, the water part and the oxygen part, the oxygen part still comes back down. So it's actually renewing our oxygen supply on the planet. But what have we heard recently about the oxygen supply on the planet that is escaping into space? Depending on the photochemical reactions, these oxygen-containing fragments participate in various atmospheric chemical cycles and can recombine or react with other molecules in the atmosphere rather than escaping into space. Specifically, the hydrogen atoms, being very light, can leak into space, especially in the upper atmosphere. The oxygen atoms and the hydroxyl radicals tend to stay in the atmosphere and are highly reactive. Hydroxyl radicals act like a detergent that breaks down other atmospheric gases and recycle themselves into atmospheric chemistry. Oxygen atoms from water dissociation can recombine to form molecular oxygen or react with other atmospheric gases. So I'm going to stop right here for just a moment, guys, because our atmosphere acts like a detergent, bleach, Dawn, if you will, of the atmosphere. It degreases it, cleans it, filters it, and all this other stuff, and we get renewed, pure oxygen back down. But blocking this UV ray is what's the primary use of this reaction going on in our atmosphere. So when they seed these clouds and they spray these chemicals into our atmosphere, they are blocking UV rays from reaching Earth. In fact, they have come out and said that's what they're wanting to do, is block the UV rays from overheating Earth. But this proves that they're up to something else. They don't want it to clean the atmosphere because the chemicals and the poisons they're spraying into our atmosphere will come back down from our atmosphere back down to Earth. Now, if they did not block the UV rays from entering Earth, well, these chemicals would break apart in the atmosphere and be ineffective, in the most part, on our lives. Funny how this kind of points out what's going on with this cloud. It isn't so much cloud seeding as they talk about, or climate change. It is in the long run, but they're stopping UV rays from reaching Earth, which is beneficial for cleaning our atmosphere and help recreate or renew in our oxygen and water supply on the planet. I'm going to read on a little bit more, guys. Thus, while hydrogen escapes, the oxygen fragments can remain, undergo chemical reactions, and continue to contribute to the ongoing atmospheric processes instead of leaving Earth's atmosphere directly. This means the breakdown products, all other than hydrogen, largely stay within Earth's atmosphere system, helping maintain its chemical balance. Excuse me. I get reading. Now, when they follow up on the remaining oxygen molecules, actually acts as a detergent and clears the atmosphere. They are spraying chemicals into the air to block the sun and block UV rays from entering our atmosphere. If this is the case, would this not create a heavier density of water vapor in the air, and the clouds can cause toxins that they are spraying to fall into the planet? So you got to kind of lead AI into where you want to go. You got to ask specific questions in order to get it there, because they are alert. They are aware of what we are up to. They listen in on every conversation, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, my conspiracy shit. The hydroxyl radicals is indeed known as the detergent of the atmosphere because it reacts very quickly with many pollutants, breaking them down into less harmful substances, including water and carbon dioxide. It is formed naturally in the atmosphere when the sunlight, UV rays, interacts with water vapor and ozone. The hydroxyl radicals oxidize the pollutants such as volatile organic compounds, methane, and other harmful gases, making them water soluble so they can be removed from the air more easily, often through rainfall. This cleaning process reduces toxins and greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. So they keep talking about increased greenhouse gases and toxins in our air, but yet they're spraying the clouds with UV blocking elements and particles. Y'all get the picture? I'm sure you do. Regarding the concern about chemicals sprayed into the air, such as proposed solar radiation management particles to block some sunlight, while blocking UVA might reduce hydroxyl radical production somewhat, the hydroxyl radicals are continuously recycled and regenerated through the complex atmospheric chemistry. The atmosphere's self-cleaning capacity remains fairly stable under current environment conditions. Wet deposition, rainfall, does help bring down water-soluble pollutants and aerosols from the atmosphere to the surface, which means some sprayed chemicals would eventually settle to the ground or in water bodies, depending on their natural nature and solubility. However, this is part of the natural atmospheric processes that filter particles over time. Let me read this part because I didn't read all this all the way together. I kind of went through the end and asked them more questions. Increased water vapor density itself does not inherently cause toxins to fall more rapidly. Rather, the chemical form of the pollutants and atmospheric conditions such as rainfall influence whether airborne substances are washed out. The hydroxyl radicals help transform many airborne toxins into less harmful or more easily removed forms, but does not directly affect water vapor density in a way that would cause more toxic fallout. How would solar geoengineering change atmospheric water vapor distribution? Is my next question. It was one of them they suggested. So I played along. Solar geoengineering, which aims to reduce sunlight reaching Earth's surface, would likely change atmospheric water vapor distribution by cooling the surface and altering evaporation and precipitation patterns. Modeling studies show that reducing solar radiation tends to decrease the total water vapor content in the atmosphere because cooler temperatures reduces evaporation. Again, blocking UV rays would cause a lower water vapor evaporation rate, less water in our atmosphere, less water vapor going up, being broke down into hydrogen and oxygen molecules, therefore less oxygen molecules to scrub or wash our atmosphere. Y'all get an idea here what they're doing? It's a kind of a circle there that they're doing. This results in less moisture in the air overall and a reduction in global precipitation and evaporation compared to scenarios with elevated greenhouse gases like CO2. So this process is actually increasing CO2 gases, greenhouse gases, by their blocking of the UV rays. Even though they sit here and holler about us about this greenhouse gas, the spraying of the atmosphere with chemicals and toxins, etc., the cooling of the atmosphere by blocking UV rays is actually causing an increase in greenhouse gases. It's irrefutable facts, guys, now that is being put out here. Maybe I'm not the first one to say you, but right here it is. I have all this right here in print. I can always copy it and send it to you if you want to, but I'm not, so don't ask. I'm sorry, I'm just that way. I'm lazy. So changing the hydroxyl cycle dynamics, okay? It will change the hydroxyl dynamics in our atmosphere, which scrubs the atmosphere and causes these things to come back, that cleans the atmosphere and allows us to breathe freely and our crops to grow cleanly, and et cetera. Instead, it's blocking this from happening. And it goes into different aerosol injection or marine cloud brightening can influence clouds and water vapor in complex ways, etc. Now, our next question is, how would reduced precipitation from solar geoengineering affect regional water supply? Reduced precipitation from solar geoengineering would impact regional supplies in several significant ways. Solar geoengineering techniques like stratospheric aerosol injection or marine cloud brightening generally decreases global and regional rainfall by cooling the Earth's surface and lowering evaporation rates. This weaker water cycle means less moisture is available for precipitation, leading to lower river flows, less groundwater recharge, and potential declines in reservoir and soil moisture levels. The effect on water supply is not uniform. Some regions, such as areas depending on monsoon rains, like parts of Asia or Africa, are particularly vulnerable. So it goes on to expect all this and everything like that. How would it reduce this reduced recharge of the atmosphere and the waterfall affect groundwater levels and wells? Reduced groundwater recharge leads directly to declining groundwater levels, which lowers the water table over time. As less water seeps down to replenish aquifers, wells may begin to produce less water or even run dry, especially if their intake sits above the dropping water table. This can result in a lot of consequences. Homeowners and farmers may need to drill deeper wells. Older or shallow wells are at high risk of falling as water tables fall below that, and so forth. Anyway, in summary, sustained reduction in recharge means a steadily declining water supply for wells. The water's not going anywhere, guys. It's just getting harder to reach to, much like I told y'all about the gold and stuff like that. All our resources, all our minerals, our elements of living is getting harder and harder to get, deeper and deeper in the earth, more difficult. It's running away from us, potentially resulting in higher costs, equipment strain, degraded water quality, ecosystem impacts, and risk of land subsidence like cave-ins or sinkholes. So this drying up of the surface, guys, is basically what it's saying because of recent actions by these global corporations and these eco-smart people think they've got the right to control us like this. They're doing this, and because of the water retreating from the surface and going deeper into the ground or leaving the region completely, these sinkholes, because of this water depletion that's going on, because of this cycle they have started, is causing the sinkholes. It is a man-made situation, but it's not you and me. It's them, the proverbial them, the people that are running the show. They're killing us by getting rid of our water. Of course, we're expendable, as they say. And it goes on to I asked it to estimate when the water supply would go, and it really wouldn't do it. It has no way to estimate it. So it gave this, that, and the other. But I went into the one, it's the largest one in the United States. The largest aquifer in the United States is the Ogallala Aquifer. The High Plains Aquifer is what it's called. It's about 174,000 square miles across 8 states. And it says within 50 years, guys, it's already very low. Within 50 years, what we have now will be 50% less at the constant rate that it's going now. But of course, this rate of depletion or absorption or whatever of water is growing substantially faster, exponentially, I guess you would call it. So this 50-year timetable that the aquifers will be at a 50% lower level is just on current levels. Of course, these drains will be increased and the level will drop much more quickly. And this is the biggest one. And a lot of the other ones depend on this one for its water storage also. So this is a what do you call it? A landslide effect or a thing. That if this one drops 50%, well, most likely all the others will drop 50% or more also within the next 50 years. So they're going to get rid of all the water, guys. And I thought Nestle or somebody else, one of these other companies, was draining off the water. But it turns out it's them, as always, the proverbial them, doing this kind of behind our backs, sneakily saying everything's, they need to get rid of, help with the heating of the earth is causing global warming, climate change, greenhouse gases. No, guys, it's them spraying the atmosphere. And right here, I just proved the point. I hope you'll have a good day. Spread this, guys. I'm asking you now. I'm trying to help grow my channel back again. So spread the news, like, share, subscribe, and tell your friends. Later, taters.